Good morning, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend. Here we are starting this week all over again. So let's call in all the angels and all the masters and Mother and Father to come and to be with us here in our conversation today. And we'll start with, let's call in our mantra. All right. I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am wisdom. I am fixed design. Let's just take a breath and let that truth move through every cell of your being. So when I walked in the room today, I pulled out these are what addressed me. Where's the lid? Here it is. My angel wisdom cards. So I thought, well, let me just see what comes up. And two fell out. And I'm sure you all with working with cards are not listening. First, there was the ego card. And then there was the wishes come true card. A lesson. Moving out of ego into understanding how wishes come true. Very fascinating, don't you agree? So as I'm mentioning that, let me say hello to everyone here. Kathy Marino, Carol, Cavell, Barbara Ward, Christina, Chase, there you are. I thought maybe you forgot. Prime 3, good morning. You seen Chipper? And Annick, very blessed to have you with us today. Thank you all for coming. So we have our question before us. And probably you still have some ego going on. And maybe you have some. Let's see what the wishes come true card says. Your dreams become reality. A magical time of life. Good fortune. Faith in the universe that all will be well. My class discussion this weekend for the high class was faith. And it was wonderful. And maybe someday soon I'll talk about some of it with you. But let's see what the ego means. Certainly we understand that that's our part that we usually tend to give power over. It wants the power over us, and it wants us to believe that it's our only way to succeed or to survive. The illusion of being trapped. Accept responsibility for your situation and then make choices that support your path to happiness. Addictions or unhealthy habits. It's the one that loves sweets. Or this is ego over here. I got to get my hand straight here. So when we first are on the path the first few years, the ego here still has a piece where it comes up. And it tries to pull your thinking away from staying steadfast on the path and accepting the lesson, not wanting to be in the poor me or the victim. Instead, well, let me see what I need to learn about this, just as this today. What do you need to learn about your ego? And how do you get to where you can let your dreams come true? It's a big question. So let's see what comes for the message today. How's that? Many times we find ourselves and we can get to where we can almost hear the voice of the ego beating at our head repetitively. It's those thoughts that we haven't generated. They come from ego. For as you move on your journey, your mind will become quieter and you will be the one generating your thoughts to create your future. So I want you all to honestly ask yourself, What is your mental thought process like throughout the day? Is it it keeps you company, has an attitude, has the gossip, has the opinion, the criticism? Are all those things still going on in your mind? Well, we can say thank you to this. It's creating the war. It's creating the unsettledness inside you. And how do we offer to change that? My suggestion is to work with your higher self, have it take your ego into your heart, and let there be a special room where the higher self will lock it in there. We do not get rid of the ego. It is one of those 144,000. But we can certainly give it the space and time to learn about love and to learn about the path and evolve just as you are. So if you can get to where, and it's interesting because people say to me, oh, well, it got out. Well, it doesn't get out. You let it out for the fear of lack of having that company, whether it's the egotistical or what you want to say it is. You're used to hearing it talk and kind of giving you an opinion of what to do. And we're wanting you to move more into your heart center and to your alignment with Mother and Father to begin to have a discernment about what's the best for you. And certainly they're going to have the best way for you to move towards having your dreams come true. So I know I talked about, oh, good morning, Kim J. and Michelle Shining Light. Intuition that was kind of deep the other day, but no worry. It was lightening something inside you. And you may not even know it yet today, but you're going to have a different moment that's going to come when maybe some part of it will either make understanding in your mind or you will just hear from your intuition. But what a great gift that is to give yourself. So, the ego sits in that place in the heart. And when I went through this, I kept it very busy. After every week, gave it something else to read about, something else to integrate. It doesn't have any awareness of that. It's come with you from the soul from the last time and has not made that accomplishment yet to the fulfillment of the light. So this is what it feels its purpose is. And it can be as stuck about it as we know we all can get stuck on things. So we need to love and embrace the ego, not judge it. Just say, no, this is where you need to go. You need to go into this room and you need to learn about what I'm finding and let it become your truth. Then you have a quieter space. I think that's what I heard from everybody from over the weekend. The space got quieter in their mind, quieter in their heart. And how many of us look for that? Yeah, all of us. Because it'll only, once it starts, it will only continue to get deeper and more expansive. So what can happen in that quiet space? Truth. Dreams can come to you as it begins to open up the zeal point in the back of the third eye. It lets you see possibilities that you didn't know. It lets you have an opportunity to have a discernment about how life does feel to you. Are you happy with that? Do you want to make a change? But you see, when you are there where your own consciousness can have a peace and a quiet to it, without the ego going, you're going to more likely find the truth and might find out really amazing things about yourself. How you become more creative is in that second chakra. On the human level, where you're still listening to the ego, there's sadness, all your emotions, grief, feeling lost, not important. So as that comes into your life and those lessons and you love yourself and you transform them, the consciousness of that second chakra actually moves up into your creativity and your passion. So whether you're someone who has had that happen or hasn't, getting the understanding of it makes a lot of difference. Because once it moves up into creativity, it's like instead of painting a portrait, you're going to paint your life. And think of things. What magical things really touch me? Do I want to fly in the stars? Do I want to help people? And if so, how? And these things with that clearness, that clarity, and that quietness are going to come more clearly to you. What is my path about? Where is the destiny of it taking me? And to be open to see. Because once that does come out, then you're going to have another one you have to address with again. The ego, because it wants to make it and help you, and it'll try to make it its way. And the thing here is to really learn the ego has no power over you. It's not about its way or how to do it. It's about your soul opening, and then your spirit, and then following it and feeling the freedom and the happiness and joy that comes with being free to do what you want to do. And in the process, it's going to bring you whatever you're meant to have, which we've talked about and learned before. God wishes to bestow all his blessings to you. So the ego is what's in the way for that happening. So you need to take time, maybe write down and see what that means to you. Let me see here. This is just still many blessings. Hope it goes on. Christina says, good morning, beautiful ladies. Oh, I keep losing it. Hold on. Maybe it keeps running over again. Yep, it flips. Yes. Marby, good morning. All right, so I don't see any questions yet. So write them down if you have a question about whether it's finding that quiet space or how to handle the ego. And you all know the voice of your ego. And it's interesting to me then when you go to hear the voice of your higher self, you really don't know where to go with that. Well, it's going to be easier if you've quieted the ego to where there's only one voice to hear. The ego voice isn't you. It's the part of you that wants to be in charge or wants to be the king or the queen and know that it's created it and to be thankful and know that it did a good job. Well, you need not let it do that. You need to become aware of yourself and your dreams coming true and your ability to manifest them is in the front of your chakras. Your dreams exist and you can see them. But manifestation, most people don't know, come from what's called the zeal point, the back of the third eye. And the clarity that you have with that and the embrace of holding energy there and maybe clearing out a lot from the past that's been stuck in there is going to let you begin to manifest. You know, we wonder why there's people who manifest right away. Well, it's because they've cleared out old thoughts or stopped making them. And the opportunity to have it be new. Hold on, something just fell. I'll be right back. Dad?
Yeah, I just tipped over the table.
All right, so you're not hurt.
No.
Why'd you try to do it without me?
I didn't.
Okay. All right, he's okay. We're still moving, so I heard a whole bunch of crystals falling. Oh, well. So, I was saying something. So, yes, how do we manifest what we desire is a very powerful question. But this relationship I'm talking about has to begin. Oh, I have it on the wrong hands down. Again, the ego has to be dealt with, and it's going to make all these dreams have wings. See this one right here? Wishes come true. Your dreams become reality. A magical time of life. Good fortune. Faith in the universe. That all will be well. I'll now give you the same exercise I gave the class. Let's all work together this week knowing that we receive unexpected income. So, how do you manifest that? Well, since I can't hear you, I'll tell you. You don't think anything else about income. You have to hold that thought. Doesn't matter how much, doesn't matter how or where it's coming from. I receive unexpected income this week. Or we'll check for the next few days. And as you might have some, you can tell us here on the channel to begin to understand. Manifestation comes from the clarity of the thought process. So if you're having that ego that's going all day long, has opinions, has choices, has judgment, manifestation isn't going to happen. Isn't going to happen. So it's all got to get quiet. You have to start putting the ego into the heart and keeping it busy doing something else. And then you have your heart as your mind connects into your heart and have choices to make it quiet. So let's see if anyone has any questions. Hello, Julie Johnson, and good morning. Let's see. Manifestation is a large part of our journey. You know, and the more you become light, the more greater ease becomes of it. And the reason being is you stop hearing ego and you become more of that raised consciousness, more of the observant, not the participant in the destruction of it, you see? Hello, anybody got a question? Let me see if I have one more card here. Oh. Another answer for you. It's the High Priestess. And it says, meditate and turn inward to discover your soul's true desire. This is not the time for action. Develop your intuitive gifts and trust the wisdom you receive. So Michelle Shining Light is asking me, should I keep seeing my therapist or switch to another one? So, Michelle, I'm willing to help you look at that, but you need to kind of let me know what's going on. I don't do psychic things. So is there something that your therapist is doing that you don't like? Let me know. And what role does visualization play in manifestation? Well, the big piece about manifestation is you have to bring it into feelings. You have to see it. You have to give it life. Just having a phrase and saying it, nothing's going to happen. But this is going back to our talks about the belief. You have to believe. So if we want to see manifestation of some kind of money this week, you might want to see a jar of pennies, or maybe you want to see a jar filled with dollar bills. Whatever visual you give to that is perhaps more likely to be what you may get. But now don't go beyond what's believable for you. We're also beginning to look to see where is your belief in prosperity and what level of prosperity consciousness do you hold, you see? I hope that answers your question. Kathy, so to quiet your ego, you need to go to a quiet place and meditate. Inside. Mm-hmm. Well, you need to first put it in the quiet place. There's a place inside your heart, if you kind of visualize it, and then have your higher self has the key, which to most people knows it can't get out. To some people who it's really had control, it gets out and keeps going. But it's a process. So then it'll be quiet. because then you start to become the master of your thoughts. What are you going to think about? And it may take you on things about yourself, but it won't have that other opinion that's judgmental or negative to make you feel bad about yourself. This part of you is going to let you feel how you feel about you. So you need to let the ego go. If you have a better way, that's fine. And you need to go inside your heart. Bring your mind, because it's also that intellect, it's taught to think. But the wisdom and spirit isn't the intellect of the mind. It's bringing that mind awareness into the heart, because your true wisdom lies in your heart. Totally different, comes from a different place, and has a different perception. I hope that answers your question, Kathy. Anybody else? So did you write something, Michelle, about your therapist? Okay, I thought I saw another one come up. Let me see. Nope. Thank you to everyone who's coming today. I appreciate you coming. But I think if you really let yourself sit quietly and listen to the ego go on and on and on and on, then you'll go, that's what she's talking about. And then call your higher self in and let it walk it right down into your heart and lock the room. It's not mean or terrible to do that to it. We're giving it that opportunity to grow and to transform. So then you're really quiet. And then you sit, bring your mind, your intellect down into your wisdom and your heart and see what it has to say to you. You might be surprised. So here she says, I have ADHD. She asked if I would like to switch to a therapist who has more experience with ADHD, or would I like to stay with her and she will do research and learn more about it. Understand I'm not a doctor. Well, I do have a doctorate in conscious studies, but I'm not a medical doctor. I'm going to offer you a new way of seeing this whole thing. I see issues, whether they're ADHD or loving issues or futuristic issues or issues with work, as patterns that we have in our consciousness within our form on various levels of our field. So for me to say that someone has to be a heart specialist to heal a heart, I would not agree, because there's so many heart patterns that when they're released can let go. And I'll give you a for instance. You know how you see these people who have ran all their life and all these things and they fall over dead. It's because there's a wound in the heart that was never healed. And when you begin to get to where you can work on healing the wholeness of you, not just a prick of you that's limiting, then there's well-being. So that's more how I see it. So I believe someone that you're speaking about will keep you small. I don't think it would be about that. It's more about what's happened to create symptoms that look like that, and maybe that's not you at all. So it can be so many facets. I work on the DNA, and I come from it from a whole different place. So you can always choose a half-hour session and talk to me and see what you feel more from. Because when I work, something moves. It releases. Something more may come because we are in continual movement in our healing process. But you will change. Some people here on this thing today would say their whole lives have changed. So what are you looking for? That's my answer. Okay. So here's Julie's. I was raised with poverty mentality. Parents and grandparents were farming or had their own business. Constantly struggling, shifting to faith, and knowing everything will be okay. Yes, I was raised on a farm. I think it was a wonderful, abundant place to be. Now, isn't that interesting? Maybe not so much in the money form, but in how the beautiful flowers would grow and the whole fields of, it's just a different way of looking at it. But I could help you with constantly struggling, and we might find, and it could go back to a past life of where we're going to find out why that's there. It's not why you may think it's there. And what that does is it brings you to a choice. Okay? So to me, that's what healing is to look at patterns, thoughts that are being destructive to the form and to the growth, and loving them and dispersing them. And we do it in many ways. Okay? So Michelle says, thank you. Yes, Julie, many of us grew up in poverty consciousness, beliefs that there's never enough, money doesn't grow on trees. I guess it all goes back to not feeling we are deserving. No, I think those are beliefs that whatever situation you were in, you chose to grab onto and make them yours. And sometimes the power we give to our parents makes us feel it's best if we're like them. It's safer because they've made it. So this one here that says, go for what you wish for. There's a way to change your whole way of thinking and finding where in your heart that distortion lies and embrace it will set you free. And poverty word won't even come into your consciousness anymore. Trust me, I do not agree with you. It's about healing these places that are locked onto your DNA. You said, oh, for this lifetime, I'm going to learn this. But there's various ways to learn it versus all the things you're all talking about. So Carol, she's telling you there's links if you want to come and make a session or something. Is that making sense to anybody? Maybe healing isn't what you think healing is. It's not just running light and you feeling wonderful. Healing is finding a pattern, how it really makes you feel, and going and transforming that by choice. And as you do that, your whole being changes. And then the next time, then something else will come up. It's a natural process for however long you live. There will always be more healing. But if you keep holding yourself in the same place, and now she wants to go and research and learn more about it, what, to empower it? No, we want to take that away. We don't want to empower that it's a disease. It's a dysfunction in the thought process. And to do that, you have to go look at what is your thought process on that and embrace it. And the part of you who is holding that, we offer an opportunity to change that. And they do. Okay? Anything else from anyone? Very good questions today. This is why we have to connect our higher consciousness. I broke away from my parents and did much of what I wanted. Now, care for my father with dementia, and we are healing in little ways. Yes. There's a blueprint that you come into this world with, and it says certain things that you're going to do and you're going to learn from when you do it. And there's a point in time for most of you when that shifts. When all of a sudden you can look at things a different way and you don't have to copycat what either teachers or parents taught you, or even that which you brought in as a big remembrance from another time. Because in truth, you're light. In truth, there's just a purity and a freedom, and all those 144,000 pieces of you are pure light. But reliving that And for you, Julie, I would say there's a way to take care of your father. And in the illumination of your heart and your light would be healing him also. Things that are labels, we have to look at them. And what does that mean? Does dementia mean that someone's trying to shut something out? They don't want to see it anymore? Perhaps. But I think anything has that possibility to bring that light to and to transform it. You're welcome, Kathy. The world is limited in that perception. And there's many, like myself, who are using the light. To have access, God's light comes in and things transform, sometimes just by talking with me. It just keeps growing and growing. Older years, it's with my hands and different techniques. But now it's a very smooth and powerful process and much deeper. And Julie agrees. His heart is now more open than ever. And I'm going to say, keep it up. Keep it up. Let that heart open and let it radiate through your whole home. Let there be nothing and put a sign up. Love lives here. That's what we all need. You see? All right. Any final question before I go today? What a great conversation we've had, huh? So I hear in my hearing talking about medical doctors. Yes, I have one. I rarely work with her.
Yeah.
Because they don't know the depth of what now I can see and understand. Not saying I'm better. Not saying any of that. Everybody has their own choice. But that's how I act and what I do. If my knee hurt, which it did, it was about moving forward. It wasn't about what was going on in a doctor's perception about my knee. So I'm certainly not saying not to go to a doctor. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying everybody has a choice, but I am offering you a new way to see what healing is and what spiritual healing is. Spiritual healing is finding an embrace of love for every possible place inside yourself that you haven't found it. Yes, Cavell. Thanks, Mother TheoSophia. Great session. So we'll be back here tomorrow. I'm going to go pick up whatever. Oh, it fell. We have so many stones and statues. I don't know what happened. We're trying to get everybody in their little space. So it was beautiful to see you all today. I hope you learned something. And I'll go on and make sure that connector clicks. And Barbara, thank you. Great session today. Well, maybe we should talk about it again tomorrow. We'll see what comes, and we'll thank the cards. And I didn't ever read, I don't think, what the High Priestess message was. Meditate and turn inward to discover your true soul's desire. This is not the time for action. Develop your intuitive gifts and trust the wisdom you receive. So it says to me that for a lot of you, there's a whole part of you haven't really embraced or know of. And this brings a sadness to me, but I'm going to take a moment right now and illuminate it into loving you. Because you're becoming awake and aware that there's more to it than however you've come to be in this world, in this moment. Love is a powerful thing. Love is the healing of God. And that's just how simple it is. God is simple, but healing is too. And love can change anything. So, many blessings to you today. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here with me on my channel. And certainly bring questions and all with you. And thank you to those of you who spoke. I hope you enjoyed your answers. If not, write in the comments section. All right. Many blessings. See you tomorrow.